From cornea-scratching makeup accidents to a director married to his screenwriter, Hollywood power couples in real-life marriages, and a child star just 4 years old stealing scenes from Oscar winners, Losing Isaiah hides bizarre production secrets and surprising connections that make this controversial 1995 drama far stranger than you ever imagined. Fact 1. A makeup artist scratched Halle Berry's corneas. Making a movie can be physically demanding, but Halle Berry experienced an injury during the production of Yumtr:11 that was both incredibly painful and completely avoidable. While filming scenes for the 1995 drama, Berry suffered a serious accident that had nothing to do with stunts or action sequences. Instead, the injury happened during a routine moment between takes when a makeup artist was simply trying to help her look fresh for the camera. The makeup artist was applying eye drops to Berry's eyes, a common practice on film sets to keep actors' eyes looking bright and moist under harsh lighting conditions. However, something went terribly wrong during this simple procedure. The makeup artist accidentally scratched both of Halle Berry's corneas while administering the drops. The cornea is the clear protective outer layer of the eye, and any damage to it causes intense pain and sensitivity to light. Berry's injury was severe enough that she couldn't simply power through the discomfort and continue working. The scratches to both eyes forced her to stop filming entirely and take several days off from the production to recover and allow her eyes to heal properly. This kind of injury can make it nearly impossible to keep your eyes open in normal lighting, let alone under the bright lights of a film set. The accident delayed the shooting schedule and left Berry in significant pain during what was already an emotionally demanding role. It's a reminder that even the most routine tasks on a movie set can go wrong, and that actors sometimes face unexpected physical challenges that have nothing to do with the actual performance. Fact 2. Jessica Lange openly regretted making the film. Jessica Lange has built a legendary career by choosing challenging and complex roles, but even the most accomplished actors sometimes look back on their decisions with regret. In the years following the release of Quote 2, Lange became remarkably candid about her experience making the film, admitting in interviews that she wished she had never signed on to the project in the first place. According to Lange, she was essentially convinced to take the role of Margaret Lewin during a period when she hadn't worked for a while and was feeling pressure to get back in front of the camera. Looking back, she recognized that she made the decision for the wrong reasons rather than because she genuinely connected with the material. Lange didn't hold back when discussing her feelings about the production, describing it as a really difficult and painful experience from start to finish. One of her main criticisms was that the script wasn't right, meaning the story and dialogue never felt fully developed or authentic to her. Even more problematic, she felt the film had no proper ending, leaving the narrative feeling incomplete and unsatisfying. When an actor of Lange's caliber publicly expresses such strong negative feelings about a project, it reveals just how troubled the production must have been behind the scenes. Despite her professionalism and talent, Lange couldn't make peace with the material or the final product. Her honesty about being talked into the role and her assessment that the script was fundamentally flawed offers a rare glimpse into how even Oscar-winning actors sometimes find themselves trapped in projects they know aren't working. Fact 3. The director and screenwriter were married. Behind the scenes of Quote 3, the creative partnership between director and screenwriter took on an extra layer of personal connection that most film productions don't have. Director Stephen Gyllenhaal and screenwriter Naomi Foner weren't just professional collaborators working together to bring this story to the screen. They were married to each other at the time of production. This meant that the two people most responsible for shaping the film's vision were going home together every night and likely discussing scenes, character development, and production challenges over dinner. Having a husband and wife team in these key creative roles can be both an advantage and a complication, as the professional and personal become deeply intertwined throughout the filmmaking process. But the family connection in this production goes even deeper than just the director and screenwriter being married. Stephen Gyllenhaal and Naomi Foner are the parents of Jake Gyllenhaal and Maggie Gyllenhaal, both of whom would go on to become successful and acclaimed actors in their own right. At the time Losing Isaiah was being made in 1994, Jake was still a teenager, and Maggie was a young adult, both several years away from their own breakthrough roles. Growing up with parents who were both deeply involved in filmmaking clearly influenced the Gyllenhaal siblings' career paths. The fact that this family has produced not just two major actors, but also a respected director and screenwriter, makes the Gyllenhaals one of Hollywood's notable creative dynasties. For viewers watching Losing Isaiah today, it's fascinating to know that this controversial drama about motherhood and race was shaped by a couple who were themselves raising two future stars. Fact 4. Susan Sarandon turned down the lead role before Jessica Lange stepped into the role of Margaret Lewin, the adoptive mother fighting to keep custody of Isaiah. The part was offered to another Oscar-winning actress who decided to pass on the opportunity. Susan Sarandon, who had already established herself as one of Hollywood's most talented and sought-after actresses by the mid-1990s, was approached to play the lead role in Losing Isaiah. Sarandon was an obvious choice for the part, given her proven ability to portray complex, morally ambiguous characters and her willingness to take on controversial subject matter. However, after considering the script and the project, Sarandon ultimately turned down the role of Margaret Lewin. The exact reasons for her decision to decline haven't been publicly detailed, but actors typically pass on roles because of scheduling conflicts, concerns about the script, or simply not connecting with the character or story. Whatever Sarandon's specific reasoning, her decision not to participate opened the door for Jessica Lange to take the role instead. It's interesting to consider how different the film might have been with Sarandon in the lead, as she and Lange bring very different energies and approaches to their performances. Sarandon tends toward a more grounded, accessible warmth in her roles, while Lange often channels intensity and vulnerability. When major roles pass from one A-list actress to another like this, it's a reminder of how casting is often a process of second and third choices rather than first picks, and how a single actor's decision to say no can change the entire trajectory of a film's production and final result. Fact 5. Samuel L. Jackson married. His on-screen co-star. While Losing Isaiah tells a story about families torn apart and put back together, there was a real-life marriage happening behind the scenes between two of the film's cast members. Samuel L. Jackson, who plays Kadar Lewis in the film, appears on screen alongside LaTanya Richardson Jackson, and these two actors share more than just scenes together in this movie. Samuel and LaTanya are married in real life and have been together since the 1970s, making them one of Hollywood's longest-lasting and most stable couples. They met as students at Spelman College and Morehouse College in Atlanta and built their relationship long before either of them became famous. By the time they worked together on Losing Isaiah in 1994, they had already been married for over a decade. LaTanya Richardson Jackson is an accomplished actress in her own right, with an extensive career in theater, film, and television. Having the opportunity to work together on the same film is something many married actors rarely get to experience, as their careers often take them in different directions or have them filming in different locations for months at a time. For Samuel and LaTanya, Losing Isaiah provided a chance to share a professional experience while dealing with the film's heavy themes about family, parenthood, and loss. Their real-life partnership brought an authentic sense of connection to their on-screen presence, even if their characters weren't the main focus of the story. The fact that they've remained together for decades in an industry known for broken relationships makes their appearance together in this film even more special in retrospect. Fact 6. The child actor was only 4 years old. At the center of Quote 10 is a young boy whose custody becomes the focus of a painful legal battle, and the actor who brought this character to life was remarkably young during production. Mark John Jeffries, who played the title role of Isaiah, was barely 4 years old when he filmed this emotionally complex drama in 1994. Working with child actors is always challenging, especially when the material deals with heavy themes. But Jeffries managed to deliver a performance that impressed both audiences and critics. Being only 4 years old meant that Jeffries was in preschool age, yet he was required to spend long hours on a film set, hit his marks, remember his actions, and react appropriately to the adult actors around him. The fact that a child so young could hold his own in scenes opposite Oscar-winning performers like Jessica Lange and Halle Berry speaks to both his natural talent and the skill of director Stephen Gyllenhaal in working with young performers. Jeffries' work in the film didn't go unnoticed by the industry. Despite his very young age, he earned nominations from the Young Artist Awards, which recognize outstanding performances by child and teen actors. These nominations validated what viewers could see on screen, that this 4-year-old had managed to create a believable and touching portrayal of a child caught between two mothers. Getting a performance of this caliber from such a young child required patience, creativity, and likely many takes. Child actors at this age have limited attention spans and can't work the same long hours as adults, which adds additional scheduling complications to any production. Fact 7. The film was a box office disaster. While Losing Isaiah featured major stars and tackled an emotionally charged subject that generated significant media discussion, none of that translated into success at the box office. The film's financial performance was disastrous by any measure, losing Paramount Pictures millions of dollars and quickly disappearing from theaters. With a production budget of $17 million, which was a mid-range budget for a drama in the mid-1990s, the studio needed the film to earn at least that much just to break even before factoring in marketing costs. However, Mar Quotuels Porbos earned only $7.6 million worldwide during its entire theatrical run. This meant the film failed to make back even half of what it cost to produce, and when you add in the additional millions spent on advertising and distribution, Paramount's losses exceeded $9 million. For a major studio release with recognizable stars, this kind of financial failure is considered a significant disappointment. The poor box office performance happened despite the film opening on over 1,000 screens and receiving considerable attention due to its controversial subject matter dealing with transracial adoption and drug addiction. Audiences simply didn't turn out to see it in the numbers needed to make it profitable. Sometimes a film's commercial failure reflects poor quality, but in this case, the lack of audience interest more likely stemmed from the difficult subject matter and the fact that it was marketed as a serious, depressing drama rather than entertainment. Movies that deal with child custody battles, addiction, and racial tensions rarely become big box office draws, regardless of the talent involved. Fact 8. Cuba Gooding Jr. had a tiny role before his Oscar. Looking at the cast list for Losing Isaiah today reveals a name that would soon become much more famous, though you might easily miss him while watching the film itself. Cuba Gooding Jr. appears in Losing Isaiah in a small supporting role, with limited screen time and relatively few lines compared to the main stars. At the time of filming in 1994, Gooding was still building his career and taking whatever roles he could get to gain experience and exposure in Hollywood. He had appeared in a few films before this, including Boys and the Hood, but he wasn't yet a household name or a leading man. His small part in Quote 16 was just one of many steps in his journey towards stardom. However, everything changed for Cuba Gooding Jr. just 1 year after Quote 17 was released. In 1996, he starred in the sports comedy drama Quote 18 alongside Tom Cruise, playing the enthusiastic football player Rod Tidwell. His energetic, memorable performance and his iconic line, Char Quote 19, made him an overnight sensation. That role earned Gooding the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor at the 1997 ceremony, catapulting him from working actor to Oscar winner in a remarkably short time. For anyone watching Quote 20 after his Oscar win, it's interesting to spot the future Academy Award winner in such a minor role. It's a reminder of how quickly careers can change in Hollywood and how actors often work in small parts for years before getting their big break. Gooding's tiny appearance in this film is now a trivia footnote in his career. Fact 9. 3 Oscar winners in one film. The cast assembled for Losing Isaiah represented an impressive collection of talent, but what makes it even more remarkable is the number of Academy Awards connected to the actors in this single film. By the time all their careers had played out, the movie featured 3 actors who would win Oscars: Jessica Lange, Halle Berry, and Cuba Gooding Jr. Jessica Lange had already won 2 Academy Awards before Losing Isaiah was made, taking home the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for Tootsie in 1983 and the Best Actress Oscar for Blue Sky, which was filmed earlier but released and awarded in 1995. Halle Berry would make history years later by becoming the first African-American woman to win the Best Actress Oscar for her powerful performance in Monsters Ball in 2002. Cuba Gooding Jr., as mentioned, won Best Supporting Actor for Jerry Maguire just a year after Losing Isaiah came out. But the Oscar connections don't stop there. The film also featured 2 actors who earned Oscar nominations even if they didn't win. Samuel L. Jackson has been nominated multiple times throughout his career, including for Pulp Fiction in 1995. David Strathairn, who plays the lawyer in Losing Isaiah, was later nominated for Best Actor for Good Night and Good Luck in 2006. Having 5 Oscar-nominated actors in one film, with 3 of them being actual winners, creates an incredible concentration of acclaimed talent. It's the kind of cast that would typically be found in a prestige picture aiming for awards season recognition rather than a mid-budget drama released in March. Fact 10. Filming used real Chicago housing projects. When filmmakers need to depict poverty and urban struggle, they often build sets or find locations that can safely approximate those environments. However, the production team behind Quote 31 made the decision to film at an actual location that represented the harsh realities they wanted to portray on screen. The movie used the real Henry Horner Homes public housing project on the west side of Chicago for several key scenes. The Henry Horner Homes were a large housing development that had become notorious for poverty, crime, and deteriorating conditions by the 1990s. By choosing to film at this actual location rather than on a Hollywood backlot or in a dressed-up neighborhood, the filmmakers brought an authenticity to the movie's visual representation of urban poverty that would have been difficult to replicate artificially. The residents of the housing project would have seen the film crew, trucks, equipment, and famous actors in their neighborhood during the production. This decision to use the real Henry Horner homes adds an additional layer of significance when watching Losing Isaiah today, because the housing project no longer exists. The Henry Horner homes were eventually demolished as part of Chicago's plan to tear down its large public housing projects and replace them with mixed-income developments. This means, Quote 33, quote, serves as an unintentional historical document, preserving images of a place that has been erased from Chicago's physical landscape. Future generations watching the film will see a snapshot of urban housing that represented a particular era in American city planning and social policy, captured on film before it disappeared forever. Fact 11. Halle Berry and Jessica Lange had on-set tension. When 2 powerful actresses play characters in direct conflict with each other, sometimes that tension extends beyond the script and into the actual relationships on set. While filming Losing Isaiah, Halle Berry and Jessica Lange were required to portray 2 mothers fighting an emotional custody battle with scenes that demanded raw emotion and confrontation between their characters. According to reports from the production, the two actresses did not develop a friendship during the making of the film, maintaining a professional distance from each other throughout shooting. Part of this distance appears to have been intentional and related to the heavy subject matter they were dealing with. The story required both actresses to access deep emotions about motherhood, loss, addiction, and racial identity. Jessica Lange was known for her intense method acting preparation, often staying in character and maintaining the emotional state of her roles even when cameras weren't rolling. This approach to acting can make it difficult to separate the character from the person, especially when the character is involved in such a painful conflict. Rather than becoming close friends who could joke and relax between takes, Berry and Lange kept an emotional distance that seems to have helped them maintain the adversarial relationship their characters needed to portray convincingly. This kind of professional tension isn't necessarily a sign of personal animosity, but rather a deliberate choice by serious actors to protect their performances. Some actors prefer to keep things light and friendly on set, while others find that maintaining separation helps them access the emotions required for difficult scenes. Fact 12. The child star went on to play young 50 Cent. Mark John Jeffries' career didn't end with his memorable performance in Losing Isaiah when he was just 4 years old. Instead, he continued acting throughout his childhood and teenage years, landing roles in some major productions that showcased his growing talent and versatility. One of his most notable later roles came when he was cast to portray a young version of rapper Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent, in the semi-autobiographical film Get Rich or Die Tryin', released in 2005. Playing the younger version of such a well-known figure required Jeffries to capture not just the physical mannerisms, but also the toughness and street credibility that 50 Cent's early life story demanded. Beyond that high-profile role, Jeffries built an impressive resume of television and film work. He appeared in, quote, 37, quote, the blockbuster superhero sequel directed by Sam Raimi, though in a relatively small part. He also had recurring roles on critically acclaimed television series, including, quote, 38, where he could work alongside more mature storytelling and complex themes, and the HBO drama created by David Simon that focused on New Orleans musicians and residents in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. The fact that Jeffries successfully transitioned from being a child actor in an emotional drama to working consistently through his teenage years and into young adulthood is actually quite rare. Many child actors struggle to find work as they get older or can't make the transition to more mature roles. Jeffries managed to avoid that common pitfall and build a sustained career across multiple genres and formats. Fact 13. Filmed in just 10 weeks. Movie productions can sometimes stretch on for months or even years, with complex shoots requiring extensive time for locations, special effects, and careful attention to detail. However, Losing Isaiah was filmed on a surprisingly tight schedule that required the cast and crew to work efficiently and stay focused throughout the entire production. Principal photography for the film took place from March 28th to June 7th, 1994, meaning the entire shoot lasted just 10 weeks from start to finish. For a drama dealing with such emotionally complex subject matter and featuring multiple major stars who all needed adequate time for their scenes, this was a remarkably compressed shooting schedule. 10 weeks doesn't leave much room for extensive rehearsal time, multiple takes to get scenes perfect, or dealing with unexpected delays from weather, technical issues, or other complications that commonly arise during production. The tight schedule would have put pressure on everyone involved, from the actors who needed to deliver emotionally demanding performances without much time to prepare, to the director who had to keep things moving while still capturing the nuanced scenes the story required. This abbreviated production timeline might partially explain some of the issues that Jessica Lange later expressed about her experience making the film. When actors feel rushed and don't have adequate time to develop their characters or work through complicated scenes, it can lead to frustration and a sense that the final product didn't reach its full potential. The 10-week schedule suggests that the studio wanted to keep costs under control by minimizing the number of shooting days, but that financial efficiency may have come at the expense of the creative process. Fact 14. The abandoned baby scene was real Chicago. One of the most crucial and emotionally powerful moments in Quote 41 happens at the very beginning of the story, when the infant Isaiah is discovered abandoned in a trash area after his drug-addicted mother leaves him behind. This scene sets up the entire narrative of the film and immediately establishes the stakes of the story. What many viewers might not realize is that this pivotal scene was filmed at an actual specific location in Chicago that the production team selected for its authenticity. The sequence where Isaiah is found was shot at the real address of 103 East 58th Street on Chicago's South Side. By using an actual Chicago location rather than a studio set or generic alley, the filmmakers grounded this fictional story in the real urban landscape of the city, adding a layer of documentary-like realism to a dramatic moment. The building at that address would have been standing there for decades, witnessing the real changes in the neighborhood and the real struggles of urban poverty that the film aimed to portray. However, like the Henry Horner Homes housing project also featured in the film, the building at 103 East 58th Street no longer exists today. It has since been demolished as part of ongoing urban development and neighborhood changes in Chicago. This means that Losing Isaiah captured images of a specific place at a specific moment in time before that place was erased from the city's landscape. For Chicago residents or historians interested in the city's evolution, these scenes provide visual documentation of neighborhoods and buildings that have disappeared. Fact 15. Jessica Lange earned $1.5 million despite hating it. Movie stars at the level of Jessica Lange command significant salaries for their work, and even when a project turns out to be a miserable experience, they still receive the compensation outlined in their contracts. For her role as Margaret Lewin in Losing Isaiah, Jessica Lange was paid $1.5 million, which was a substantial but not unusual salary for an Oscar-winning actress taking the lead in a studio drama in the mid-1990s. That paycheck was guaranteed regardless of how the film performed at the box office or whether Lange enjoyed the experience of making it. As we know from Lange's later candid interviews, she deeply regretted taking the role and found the entire production to be a difficult and painful experience that she wished she could take back. She felt the script wasn't right, that there was no proper ending to the story, and that she had been talked into doing the project during a time when she simply wanted to get back to work rather than because she genuinely connected with the material. Despite all these negative feelings about Losing Isaiah and her dissatisfaction with both the process and the final product, Lange still walked away with her full $1.5 million fee. This highlights an interesting reality about the film industry. Actors at the top level are essentially being paid for their time, name recognition, and professional craft, not for whether they personally love every project they work on. Once Lange signed her contract and completed her work on the film, she had fulfilled her professional obligation even if the artistic result disappointed her.